Hello my friends and welcome. We have mostly news coming from Iran. You already know what happened the last night, and thank you guys for those who participated in the stream. And yeah, Israel continues the strikes on Iranian nuclear facilities. For example, according to the latest information, we have this picture published right away from the Fordow fuel and enrichment facility, which has been hit. For the last few hours, Israel actually kaputted 2 of the Iranian reactors and lots of the Iranian officials. Well, you probably know my reaction on Iran. I don't like their government. Their government are just pure dictators, same as Russia. They possess the threat for the world, but still I didn't support this operation which Israel started because I thought that the fuel prices would rise by several times. Actually, here I was wrong. Yeah, they rose, but not by several times as I expected, so it's not dramatic outcome so far. But Israel, they plan to attack infrastructure of Iran, first of all military infrastructure and nuclear one, for long 2 weeks. At least it was a report like that, so we're gonna see the real outcome. Here we have the map of the facilities out there in Iran, nuclear facilities. In Natanz, the reactor was kaputted. There was no nuclear fallout report, as many say that it could lead to that, but no. However, there are still some of the major nuclear facilities which are protected and mounted into the mountains or buried down into the ground, so Israel, I don't think that it has some sort of the weaponry to kaboom it really. That's why I think Israel may start some sort of the special military operation. Well, in general, guys, it's crazy what Israel done to Iranian regime senior commanders, military commanders. We were on the stream yesterday. The names, pictures were coming one after another. At first, Israeli side reported about their losses, and later on, Iranian side confirmed the losses. So Mohammed Hussein Bahri, who is the commander-in-chief, it's like the minister of their defense or something like that, was zeroed, as well as the other main commanders of the Islamic Revolution Corps. Salami was kaputted. Golem also, who was the head of the emergency command and the central headquarters or something like that. Like spiritual leader Khamenei is still there, alive, but after him Iran lost lots of the officials, including the command of their airspace forces, that's the Air Force basically, and many more. Also nuclear scientists, those people who were involved into the production of the nuclear weaponry, they were zeroed, many of them. It's not the full tree, it's not the full list, the names continue to come. From the information I heard on the internet, they were gathered in one room or one apartment, something like that. Israel also concentrated the efforts to demolish the capabilities of Iran to protect itself. Many of the air defense systems were kaboomed. For example, here it is the air defense of Iran, which was kaboomed by the shell or by the drone. They even deployed some sort of the drone sabotage group to cancel some of the capabilities of Iran to protect itself. And the Iranian air defense, well, at least judging on the videos which I streamed yesterday, we got this information mostly from Twitter yesterday during our stream, the Iranian air defense wasn't really working. Israel just showed the playbook of how to conduct the assault operations on different states which is far away from its own territory. Iran was absolutely caught off guard, unable to protect not just its facilities but its main leaders. Military commander now just been beheaded, and they are unable actually to respond because they have no decision-making apparatus any longer. Yeah, Khamenei appointed right away the new general of staff commander and so on, but they need time to get into the business. Like, even though 2 days ago Iran was posted those images, we're ready to even respond with those missiles ChatGPT generated, de facto they were not prepared at all. Like, they are incompetent. I think they're even worse than the Russian Federation with their military command, which is, as we know, also incompetent. You know, those dictators, they just live in their parallel reality. They were posted some of the quotes from Quran instead of real actions against the state which was attacking them. So they were not ready. They live in their spiritual fanatic world. And yeah, it's not about Islam, my friends. I respect all of the religions, including Islam. And for example, Saudi Arabia, they do not behave like Iran. So indeed, it was the great successful operation, and it still continues, done by Israel. Iran is just demolished, beheaded in the first night, in the first day, and they don't know what to do from what I understood. And yeah, oil spikes up to $78 per barrel, but it's not like several times spike, so it's not that critical as I thought. And yeah, pictures continue to come. This is the commander of the Iranian airspace forces, and this is his deputy. They were zeroed by the strikes. Allegedly, this one was responsible for the supplyment of the spare parts to the Russian Federation for the Russian-made Shahid drones. And yeah, Russia started their own production of the copies of the Shahid drones. They call those Giran 2. And still, I don't have like 100% clarification whether they have their own production fully or they received some of the spare parts from Iran. Different OSINT analytics say different stuff. If Iran was still supplying the spare parts, it's the huge hit on the Shahid production out there in Russia. But before, Iran sent some of the Ilyushin-76 cargo airplanes with the drones or spare parts, but for the last few months, I haven't seen those flying. Well, maybe they used vessels and transport the spare parts via sea. Anyway, we also have the map from the Myco-73 analytic. He shows lots of the strikes on Iranian facilities. Many of those were kaboomed the last night. I cannot show you guys everything, like the kabooms itself. You may open my stream, which I conducted this morning, and you'll see everything. The stream lasted for almost 4 hours, and it was restricted because of the stuff I showed there. Iranian military continued to post some of the saint quotes with those kind of the pictures. That is all what they can do. They also post their losses here, confirming the successful operation done by Israel. They also sent some of the drones towards Israel, which were intercepted. No drone hit Israeli ground from what I understand. Right, the only response from Iran, and it's not from Iran, but from Iranian proxies in Yemen, Houthis, they launched some of the missile towards Israel, which hit just a random place. Alright, it happens, and yeah, today, guys, it's gonna be one more big stream. I'm gonna stream the possible response of Iran on Israel. We're gonna see how it might look like. Khamenei says that there will be a response from Iran. They say that Zionist regime pays for its crimes. The regime will not escape unpunished. Yeah. They just promised that since couple of days, I guess, since the start of the strike of Israel, but no real actions are done. Yeah, they tried to use their ballistic missiles, but those were kaboomed by Israel upon readiness. Yeah, definitely a very successful operation done by Israel, and Iran is basically out of the tools to harm Israel in the same way, or at least close to that. That's why probably they wanted to develop nuclear weaponry. And it is understandable why Israel is against that, and they just cannot allow it to happen. Donald Trump didn't want to join Israel to press hard Iran. He was very weak in those negotiations. I think if Donald Trump would say that, okay, we're going to support Israel with a strike on Iran, be sure that you'll face the significant circumstances for you if you wouldn't sign the deal with us. Well, in that case, Iran maybe would think twice, but they thought that Israel would not be able to strike them with significant circumstances, but they were absolutely wrong. Iranian generals and their command were in the penthouse buildings by the time of the strike. They were caught off guard. It was brilliant, really brilliant operation done by Israel. Everything according to the playbook. The main thing is whether Israel will be able to absolutely demolish all of the uranium-enriched facilities out there in Iran, because they're hidden underground with a thick concrete walls and ceilings, so it's kind of hard to do without B-2 bombers or B-52 bombers. So here America should help, but Donald Trump and Marco Rubio and Trump's team, they say that they will not take part in the strikes against Iran. So I expect, after all, just a partial success, and Iran may keep its regime running, unfortunately. And yeah, just now more videos coming with the strikes on Iranian facilities. That's the whole new page in the confrontation in the Middle East. On the stream, it was quite interesting to read all of that stuff from their official pages of Iran. For example, they say that this guy is in a war room. He is like monitoring and controlling the situation and getting ready for the payback. But later on, they published that he's been kaputted. And this guy, Salami, just a few hours before the strike, he also called about the possible response against the Zionists. And in a few hours, he was just gone. He met with his friend Nasrallah, or what was the surname of that guy who was zeroed many years ago. But that operation was really nothing compared to what Israel done today. or yesterday, depends on where you live. Yeah, we have the new report. Yeah, probably I'm gonna go streaming today, this evening or night. Again, officials report that Iran is preparing to launch upwards 100 ballistic missiles at Israel. Well, we'll see how it goes. About ballistic missiles, well, Iron Dome, from what I understood, is unable to cope with that threat. They need to have some sort of the THAAD systems or Patriot missiles to hit ballistic missiles, which Iran actually could launch, but they promised to launch it few hours ago, around 10 hours ago, right after the strike on them. Now they promise to launch, preparing. How long would they prepare? We're out of clue, and maybe there's not going to be 100 ballistic missiles, but 10, because Israel is hunting those all across the country. For now, Iran is just capable to generate just some of the CGI in their dream to hit Israel. That's what they do. And yeah, some people say that it was the unprovoked attack by Israel, but Israel has the enemy in the Middle East. It is Iran. And Iran, as experts say, was days away from obtaining real bombs. And it's absolutely no-go for Israel, and not just for Israel, it should be no-go for United States of America as well, because United States have their bases all across the Middle East. And yeah, we have more and more information that Israel continued the strikes on infrastructure of Iran. So guys, you may agree with my opinion, you may not agree. I'm just sharing it on my channel. But still, you cannot say it in the other way. Then Israel conducted a very successful military operation. It was the worst preparation, or not preparation at all. The air defense fucked up, everything fucked up, the commander, leaders, everything. Like, no one was hiding in the bunkers. It's terrible for them. I would say mostly even Iranian incompetence led to this outcome for Iran, and they are shocked now, really. But unfortunately, my friends, there is the tiny little chance for Iranian regime to collapse just because of the single strike. And guys, the main thing as for me, because I'm reviewing the situation in Europe and I'm Ukrainian myself, this channel is biased, it's pro-Ukrainian. So the main thing that Israeli attack so far, it hasn't influenced the situation in Ukraine in a very bad way. Like, I'm monitoring the fuel prices and they're now growing, but not significantly. Yeah, as I told you already in this video, because that would be very profitable for Russia. And Russia, well, it condemned the attack. Russia is the ally of Iran. They're quite disappointed about the situation that dictator regime out there is suffering. And Israel really showed how the special military operations should be conducted, unlike Russia. Just recall how they started their special military operation, which went to total failure. Yeah, the events are developing really fast. The ballistic missiles have been launched already from Iran towards Israel, and now the missile launches have been detected, and Iran residents across Israel are told to get shelters immediately. So we're gonna see about the result of this strike, because I'm sure that Israeli air defense would work much better than the Iranian one. Yeah, we're gonna see. I'm gonna stream it today, but at first I'm gonna upload this video for you, my friends, so this information could be outdated even, and you already know probably the result of those strikes. Alright, and we have the good news from Ukraine this time. We're speaking about the Sun ballistic missiles, which Ukraine starts to produce. Well, this system is basically Grom 2. Ukraine has already produced several of the units in cooperation with Saudi Arabia, but for the last couple of years the system was modernized and it's now called Sun. According to Ukrainian officials, the production already has been started. It is very similar to Iskander system, but with longer range, capable to fire a couple of the missiles, which has longer range compared to ATACMS, and may carry more of the TNT and other stuff. So this is the unique, outstanding system which no one has. Kind of the unique video with the Russian attack airplane Sukhoi 25. Let's watch it. Yep, shit happens. Yeah, just for you to watch again with the comments. Then they start to bank in a turn. You have significant G load actually, and one of the attack airplanes just collapses mid-air. The wing separated, there's the fuel, it started to burn, and pilot ejected here, I guess. His parachute, yeah. So it says a lot about the condition of the Russian attack airplanes, about the maintenance. if the wing is just being separated with some of the G-force. This is crazy. Yeah, some of the channels report that one of the Russian pilots hit the other one. No, they just went to the turn together and the airplane collapses. Sadly, only one. Yeah, I guess I cannot show you this video fully here, but I can explain what happened. It is Mali, Africa. There are some of the Russian mercenaries whom I learned. They're sleeping forever because they were ambushed by the local Tuaregs. Some of the Tuaregs are actually fanatics as well. I do not support them, but they are fighting against Russian mercenaries and the Russian influence in Africa. So in a way, they do this dirty job against our main enemy, which is the Russian Federation. Here you can see what they wear. So the guys who are wearing sandals were capable to cope with mighty Russian mercenaries like Wagner or someone out there. Wagner's, by the way, withdrawing their forces little by little from Africa. And I already told on this channel that they create a new regiment of the Wagner army, which will be used by Russian Federation out there in Ukraine. But it's not like the old school Wagner. Wagner has been changed, and I would say it's gone with the kaput of Prigozhin. Alright, Russia wants to block Telegram once again on territory of Russia from the 1st of September. The Russian officials announced about the production of their own independent messenger. They say that it will be named VK Plus. The functionality will be the same as Chinese WeChat, where you have the messenger, you have video, TikTok and YouTube stuff content, and also government services, all within one application. So even though Durov is going to those interviews with Tucker Carlson, even though he supports pro-Russian politicians out there, for example, in Romania, he will still be banned in Russia with his Telegram, because Telegram is actually a good tool which gives more or less good information, uncensored one. That's why I have my Telegram channel out there. I always put it in the video description, so you may check it out. I publish lots of the stuff out there, but I also post on Twitter, I post on Blue Sky, but Blue Sky doesn't allow somehow to create long posts. On Telegram and on Twitter I can do it, but mostly I'm here, guys, on YouTube. And also, if you want to support the job that I do here, you're very welcome to join me on Patreon, because only with that you keep me running and upload videos almost every day. Thank you so much, guys, for your awesome support. If you don't have the opportunity to join me on Patreon or membership of the channel, just press your huge like to this video, and by doing it you really help me a lot. Also subscribe for the channel. Alright, Abdel-Dinov, the commander of the Chechen Ahmad battalion, is damn scared about the future of Russia. He is calling to mobilize at least 500,000 soldiers to push Ukraine hard, otherwise there is no perspective to win in this war. And actually many of the Russian military bloggers, they write that Ukraine can even strike this summer Russia somewhere. Strelkov says about the direction of Crimea, which is kind of strange. Well, he says that Ukraine could perform the landing operation. Well, I honestly think that Ukraine is out of that resource, but we see that Ukraine is actually capable to stop Russian offensive. We are speaking about Sumy, eastern side of Ukraine. Mainly Russians were stopped. Sometimes they're successful. They're looking for the weak spots in Ukrainian defense and push really hard, but mainly the front lines are not moving that fast any longer. And that makes Russian influencers and those commanders as up to kind of nervous. They see that there is no perspective in the coming years to win in this war. So only Putin is sure that everything is going according to plan, but do not believe Putin. Alright, we have the evidence that Ukrainian drones hit the Russian train. It happened on 6th of June, but it is not the train which was carrying tons of the Russian vehicles as it was reported at first. No, this train was carrying some of the diesel fuel and other Russian supplies, not the vehicles. Now we have the evidence, and it is one more strike of the Ukrainian drones against the Russian military train. The previous one, I think, happened in May. Yeah, it's good that we have some of the evidence, and Russia uses the southern railways to supply their army, so not just Crimean Bridge or Kerch Bridge. Yeah, guys, for today, Ukrainian news a little bit shadowed by what is happening in Iran. Nevertheless, let's go to the military map update. Russians moved in Malinivka just a little. This is the Zaporizhia Oblast, so yesterday, today, their movement was registered. And not far away from Gulai Pole, by the way. Back in 2023, this place was projected to be the main area of the possible Ukrainian strike against the Russian forces to break to the Azov Sea, somewhere in Berdyansk. Well, it didn't happen as it was planned. That's what we know. In the other direction, over here, Ukraine did some sort of the strike, pushing Russians out. So it is yesterday, it is today. So from Yablonivka, Ukraine started some sort of the strike, or we have just a map clarification from this place. And that's all the Russian movement for the last 24 hours. As you may see, definitely the front line is not moving that much. And my friends, in a few hours, I'm going to start the stream about the possible Iranian revenge, because the conflict of the Middle East, it really influences everything, also Ukraine, a lot. That's why, guys, my duty is just to keep you updated. And now, thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time. Don't forget to press your like and subscribe for the channel.